The Sacramento Kings shocked the world last season with their fast-paced style of play, their overachieving head coach Mike Brown, and their overall brand of basketball. And coming into the offseason, the Kings had one motive in mind, and that was improving this roster for next season. The one big problem, though, was coming into the draft, they didn't have an overabundance of cap space by any means. However, with that being said, the Kings made a power move that went so under the radar that nobody is talking about it. In addition, they also added a couple of guys who have amazing potential and could develop into something great here in Sacramento with some development. In this video, I'll be breaking down exactly how the Kings dominated the first half of the NBA offseason and why they can get over the hump and potentially win the NBA championship next season. However, before we jump into the video, I need you guys to do me a huge favor and smash that like button if you haven't already done so. It helps out the channel so much. So let's even get the video up to 500 likes. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I will be covering the Sacramento Kings all off season long, as well as the rest of the NBA. And I also will be live streaming games. So if you guys ever want to come watch some Kings games with me, I'm going to be covering the Kings. So in the Summer League, if you want to watch some Summer League games with me live, make sure you guys join the family. Make sure you guys turn on post notifications so you're notified every time we drop a video, every time we go live for a game. Make sure you guys are there. But without any further ado, let's jump into today's video. Now, a few days before the NBA draft, many people speculated what the Kings' blueprint was going to be in terms of their offseason plans. Now, shortly after the Kings were on the clock, they had simply just traded back. In that trade, Richaun Holmes was sent over to the Dallas Mavericks. In exchange, the Kings sent them their 24th overall pick, Richaun Holmes, and got back the number 34 overall pick. Now, many people outside of the Kings organization, their fan base, were like, what kind of trade is that? But people failed to recognize is that this trade opened up over $30 million in total cap space. I'm not saying that this trade specifically gave them $30 million, but now that they made this trade, they have over $30 million in terms of available cap space for the start of free agency, which is massive in itself. This will alone allow the Kings to explore almost every possibility throughout this year's free agency period. I think a lot of people outside the Kings fan base saw this as a bad trade for Sacramento, but this is actually huge. Richaun Holmes is a solid, energetic center, however, found himself lost at the bottom of the Kings depth chart throughout most of this season, or this past season. And the Kings had no desire to give him more valuable minutes going forward, so they decided, let's move him, let's try to open up that cap space and bring in some more people that we think can be, a contributor to our team next season. And that is exactly what their desire is to do going forward. And the fact that they were able to open this much cap space, getting rid of a player who didn't really play at all for them last season, is truly amazing. And it's honestly incredible that now they have the ability to go out and sign some of the biggest free agents on the market in this year's free agency. But let's actually go on to what they used these picks for and some of the guys that they brought in during the draft, because I do want to specify that they're probably going to get someone really good in free agency, but they also traded back and got a guy that they loved in this draft as well. And with the 34th overall selection in this year's NBA draft, the Kings selected a guard out of Xavier in Colby Jones. Colby Jones is a very versatile defender with immaculate size at 6'6" at his position. Defensively, he is very gifted, but also obtains a very interesting set of talents on the offensive end as well. Overall, Colby is a very skilled combo guard that can break out in the NBA with the right training and coaching staff. A fundamentally sound offensive player who can drain almost any mid-range shot and can score off the dribble with ease. In his last season at Xavier, Colby averaged 15 points per game, 5.7 rebounds, and 4.4 assists per game, while also bringing in 1.3 steals per game. Don't expect this to be the flashiest draft pick in the world, but definitely he can be someone to develop into a great role player for years to come. And then with the 54th overall pick in the draft, the Sacramento Kings selected Jalen Slauson. Now, Jalen is an agile, skilled wing player that can, turn some heads with the ball in his hands, but also adds a ton of effort on the defensive side of the ball as well. Overall, he's a guy who I would not be surprised if he becomes a reliable 3-and-D wing player at the next level. However, I do think that it will take him some time to fully develop into that player that we know he can be. In my opinion, I think that Jalen Slauson will be a guy that goes on to signs a two-way contract just so he can start the process of improving his game. The Kings made it a priority to add a couple of two-way guys in this draft, and they did that exactly by adding Colby Jones and Jalen Slauson, two guys who can both play defense but can also create their own shot, can also score at a decent level, but with some improvement, they can be very, very good. But the biggest thing about this draft was the fact that the Kings were able to add so much cap space, and their next big move is on the way. Let me know in the comment section who is someone that you want Mike Brown and the Kings front office to potentially look into adding in terms of free agency, because there are legitimately so many great fits for Sacramento that they just need to, explore. I mean, there's so many guys that they can add that will be an immediate impactful player for them next season. It could help them get over the hump in 2023, 2024. Now, I did some of my own research and wanted to see, some of the names that could end up in Sacramento, just to get back to you guys, see if you guys would like any of these players. So comment down below. I'm going to name you 3 players that I've seen could potentially end up with the Kings this summer. Let me know if any of them, catch your interest, or if you would want them to explore signing any of these guys. Now, the first guy is Jeremy Grant. He's a wing over there in Portland. He could potentially get moved. They got cap space to, bring him in on a deal. You got Kyle Kuzma, a free agent, formerly of the Wizards. We know that the Wizards let go of Bradley Beal. They let go of Kristaps Porzingis, traded both those guys to Phoenix and Boston. And now they have a guy in Kyle Kuzma who's coming off a great season as a wing, and he's potentially going to sign elsewhere. Now, let me know in the comment section down below, would you be interested in a guy in Kyle Kuzma who is not, the youngest guy in the world, but he's also not old either. So I do think he would fit the way Sacramento is building their team as young, hungry, motivated guys. I think Kyle Kuzma would fit right into that. And then another guy, Cam Johnson of the Brooklyn Nets. Now, we all know he was traded from Phoenix, and this is another 3-and-D guy who can, he starts to develop into a guy who can create his own shot as well. But this is just what, Cam Johnson is one of those guys who you want to have on your team. You hate playing against him, but you love having him on your team. A guy who's energetic, who can make big-time plays at big-time moments. Someone who I deem is unlikely to move on from Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn's going to do whatever it takes to get him back. But if he was to hit the free agent market, I think this dude could get a ton of offers, and I do think Sacramento would be very interesting if they could pull something off in terms of bringing Cam Johnson into the team. All of these guys are very versatile wings who can contribute right away to this young Kings team. However, none of these guys even would be options if it wasn't for that underrated trade with the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I need you guys to do me a favor and let me know in the comment section down below which one of those guys, or if anybody, would you want the Kings to go out and try to get during this free agency period? Or if I didn't mention someone, give me all your guys' names. Who do you want the Kings to try to get? Because right now, this Kings team is good. They are young, they're fast, they're scary, and they're motivated, and they are great. They have a great head coach in Mike Brown. And potentially, if they just add one more piece, this could be a team that we see not only on a deep playoff run next season, but in the NBA Finals as well. I see them with that much potential. They have great team chemistry. They play as a unit. They, are very fundamentally sound when it comes to their offensive game plan. That they know what they want to do, and they execute it very efficiently. So we'll see what they do here in the next couple of weeks during free agency. But this could get very exciting for Sacramento Kings fans who are just waiting for the opportunity to light the beam. But not during the regular season, not during the first round of the playoffs, but for the NBA Finals. They want to light the beam. They want to win a championship. Who is one guy that you think would help them lead or help them achieve that goal of winning the NBA Finals next season? Give me all your options. Give me everybody you think that could help. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Join the family. I will be covering the entirety of the NBA offseason, which includes free agency, any trades that take place, summer league, preseason, regular season, I got you guys covered. Join the family, turn on post notifications, and you'll be notified every time something happens in the NBA. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Today's video is brought to you by ProClass, the absolute best place for you to take your game to the highest level. It's the first of its kind sports training and development platform where you can reach your highest potential by learning from some of the best athletes on the entire planet. Some of these guys include Damian Lillard, De'Aaron Fox, Allen Iverson, DeMar DeRozan, and so many more. And I have some great news for you guys. If you guys go use my code MattyDubs, you'll get 50% off hundreds of training videos, workouts, and drills, and you can get in the lab right now. So go check it out. Go steal some of the secrets from some of the top players in the world right now. And if you are interested in developing your skills at any level, if you play in middle school, high school, college, or if your goal is just to be a better athlete, a better basketball player, this is where you need to go. Nobody else does this. Go check them out, and you can learn, develop your skills at a fast pace, high speed level. Click the link in the description for instant access to all of the secrets in the world. And remember, using code MattyDubs will get you 50% off right now, so don't miss out on this offer.